And welcome again to 2026 National Invasive Species Awareness Week. I'm Rick O'Connor. I'm the Florida Sea Grant Agent at the Escambia County Extension Office. And all week we're making short videos talking about some of the invasive species problems we have along the coastal area of the Florida Panhandle. Today we are in Pensacola. We are near a body of water called Bayou Chico. And we have a new invasive species that has moved here. New meaning relatively new to the state. It's actually been in our area for a couple of years now. FWC is working very hard trying to manage this thing, but the plant is called giant Salvinia. And this is a retention pond just off of the bayou, and you probably can see that there's very little water visible. It's all covered by this small little floating plant. It's kind of like duckweed, but the leaves are much larger. So again, for scale, you can get an idea about how big this stuff is. This plant actually came from South America. It was brought intentionally in the United States just a few decades ago as an ornamental for aquarium tanks and things like that. It was released accidentally, though it was brought here intentionally. And it's been a huge problem in the state of Texas and Louisiana. I personally have been to a lake in Louisiana that was like this. The lake was so covered you couldn't see water. You couldn't move a boat through it. So it's become very problematic for that reason. Another problem with the plant is that it will block out sunlight. Obviously, when it covers the surface of the water like this, all sunlight drops down. And so any, what we call submerged aquatic vegetation, any seagrass, if you will, growing on the bottom is not going to survive. And so now you've lost that source of oxygen, food, and hiding places for the aquatic organisms, and that can be problematic. Predation goes up on those. And then also, as the oxygen levels will start to die, these things will cut off some of the oxygen at the surface. The plants that die go to the bottom, they decompose, and that draws the demand for oxygen even higher, so the DO goes down lower and you can end up with fish kills. So recreational wise, it's a problem. Aesthetically, it's a problem. Ecologically, it's a problem. It's an invasive species. They have been battling it in Texas and Louisiana for several years now. It's relatively new to the state of Florida. When we started finding it here in Pensacola, we were the only place in the state that had it. And the State Fish and Wildlife Group, the Commission, FWC, basically declared war on it. They did not want this spreading throughout the state. Another hydrilla problem too, kind of thing, if you will, our water hyacinth problem. And so they have been working on Bayou Chico, and we now found this in the retention pond. It was primarily in Bayou Chico. The way they treat this, just so you know, they will treat it with chemical, and a lot of folks have some issues with that, but there's really no other way to deal with this other than the chemical. So in Bayou Chico, they've been doing some chemical treatments, but then it showed up here in this retention pond, which is almost 100% covered now. And we believe just on the other side of that tree line is where Bayou Chico is. We believe wildlife has been moving back and forth between the two waterways, and that is how it's getting dispersed or moving around the area. So it's probably, for the most part, going to stay kind of locked here. It does not like salinity. So Bayou Chico is an estuary, and it flows with low tide out into open Pensacola Bay, but this plant here does not really like the salt water. So that is not of a concern. The bigger concern is either people or wildlife, and that could be birds. A great blue heron could come down here feeding on fish or shrimp and then get it on their feet and move. As I do surveys in the summer, when I get back to the boat ramp with my paddleboard, I have to clean it off. There's Salvinia all over it. So we're trying to educate the public about what this plant is and what to do about it. Obviously, in a large infestation like this, if you happen to live on a body of water, you're not going to deal with chemical, but you can simply just scoop it out with a crab net or a swimming pool skimmer, if you will, and put it on concrete and let it dry out and die. And once it's dead, then you can bag it up, put it in the trash can, and dispose of it that way. But you certainly want to contact your extension office if you're in the state of Florida and you think you may have this, so that an extension agent can confirm ID that yes, this is what it is. Then we'll put it on the national database and let FWC know as well, so they know where the plant is and how it's spreading. It is in other places in Florida now, not just here. So that is the plant we will be talking about for this is giant Salvinia.